The title of our video is, Am I Gaslighting Myself? We'll describe what that means in a moment, but first, please take a moment to subscribe to LilyTube and hit the bell to receive notifications. This video has been funded by La Garnacha, Mexican food like you've never had before. Their Mexico City-style cuisine is traditional, genuine, and uniquely made. This is by far the most delicious Mexican food we've ever tasted, and located right in the heart of Harriman, Utah. If you want an authentic taste of Mexico, head over to La Garnacha.
All right, friends, what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation in which the abuser attempts to sow self-doubt and confusion in their victim's mind. Typically, gaslighters are seeking to gain power and control over the other person by distorting reality, getting the person to question what they're actually seeing, forcing them to question their own judgment and intuition. It is common for people to use this term when talking about a former spouse. I'm sure you've heard it if you've been in the mid-singles community very much. Is it possible that we do the same thing to ourselves? Don Miguel Ruiz, in The Mastery of Love, writes about self-abuse, and it's interesting. He says in a relationship, you will allow yourself to be abused up to the limit of where you abuse your own self. And so he's saying, if you will accept this amount of abuse from a partner, you'll accept that amount of abuse from yourself. But once you reach the limit of self-abuse, beyond that, you recognize that a partner is abusing you.
I think that's really true. Cognitive distortions is when we gaslight ourselves. It causes all sorts of confusion. What is a cognitive distortion? UPMC Western Behavioral Health defines it this way. Depending on how we interpret events, our minds can sometimes play tricks on us. They can convince us of things that aren't true, even though they feel rational to us. When these inaccurate beliefs influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can feel anxious, stressed, angry, or depressed about ourselves or the world around us. These faulty beliefs are known as cognitive distortions.
These examples come from Healthline. For example, the statement, I have the worst luck in the entire world, or I just failed that math test. I'm no good at school and I might as well quit. Or she's late, it's raining, she's hydroplaned and her car is upside down in a ditch. And why do we question our own sanity or unquestioningly jump to negative conclusions? I remember a time when I was experiencing cognitive distortions when Cathy and I were first dating, and it all came from things in the past where I had been hurt and was ultra sensitive to certain things that she did that were really innocuous. And I was seeing a therapist at that time, and she told me about cognitive distortions. But her first response, when I described the distortions that I was going through and then realizing later, wait a minute, it wasn't the way I thought. Her comment to me was, seems real, feels real, it's very powerful. And then she told me that that feeling was probably lying to me, which it was. So I think we can partake of cognitive distortions when we're overly sensitive to a particular thing or issue, and that can cause distorted thinking, which in a way is kind of like gaslighting ourselves.
Right, because when we tell ourselves a certain thing and we believe it, it can cause all sorts of confusion. It can cause all sorts of irrational action on our parts. Now, when it's happening from someone else, it can be super frustrating because we don't have any control over if someone's lying to us right to our faces, and then we're making choices based on erroneous information, and we're also feeling like we're crazy because we feel like something's off, but we don't know quite what. But the same thing can actually happen with these cognitive distortions because, like the definition explains, we ourselves are confusing ourselves.
Right.
We're getting all sorts of mixed up and we're getting confusion, and it's not based in reality.
If you know you're triggered, take a step back, take a minute or two or longer to come to a place of peace, and you will see the world more clearly. Don't make important business decisions, career decisions, financial decisions, relationship decisions when you're triggered. Because you're susceptible to gaslighting yourself in those situations, to experiencing cognitive distortions. Thank you for watching this episode of LilyTube. Have you ever had anyone that was gaslighting you? Have you ever gaslighted yourself? Let us know in the comments what your experience with gaslighting has been, and please remember, any time is a great time for more love in your life. Thank you for watching.